Alexander the Great. Fuerunt. There were 2,000 equitum Barcani, so of Barcani horsemen or knights, by Penis, so it's a two-headed axes they were amartide with. They were armed with these two-headed axes and with light scooters, with light shields. I'll just change this and put that there. Maximae, or especially having the speciem, the appearance, redentibus, they were giving off this appearance of these other types of shields which they use in Spain. Peditum. Of the foot soldiers, there was 10,000. Pari armated with the same armaments, and they followed. Same armaments as the cavalry had. The Armeni, they misoriented. They sent quadriginta of these foot soldiers. As you can see, the quad means 4, so it was 40,000. With the additional of Milibus Septem, with an additional 7,000 equitum knights. The higher Curnae of a Gregorium equitum is like a very special type of horseman that were amongst this race. They filled it up with Exploveran with 6,000, which with additional horses, and I'm pretty sure this is a different spelling. Mille would be 1,000, and these would be a people. I'll go with this translation. Taporus with 1,000 additional of these people. That's Taporian cavalry. And this bit here looks wrong again, so we'll put in these other people. Bk3.3. The Derpiers, they were armed. You can have it this way, or there's a what's the other spelling of it? Armor variant, which would be the pluperfect. Anyway, these people were armed with 40,000 foot soldiers. Quadrata millius 40,000. Pluribus heribans. To a lot of them, many of them, they were sticking this hastas. Their spears were prefixed, which they had stuck to. Certain of them duravented. They'd hardened their spears, hardened the wood of their spears with fire, and they'd prefixed, it's either bronze or iron. So this is missing the bit about bronze. So A-E-R-E, ort. So many of these people had iron or bronze fixed onto their spears, and the spears had been hardened by fire. Hos quoqui. So also these people had 2,000 horsemen, dua milli equitum, from the same race. Commentatus, they were companions or went along with them. From the Caspian Mare, from the Caspian Sea, there were 8,000 pedestrian type of army, so foot soldiers who had venerated, who had come, and Ducentai, which is 200 horsemen. Cum ius, with these, there were other races, alia gentes, and they were unknown, ignobles, unknown, 2,000 foot soldiers, and a duplicate amount, so 4,000, who prepared number of horses, or cavalry. To these copias, to these forces, there were 30,000 of Greeks who had been conducted, so they'd been hired as mercenaries. Another egregia, would we see that up here? It just means a special or outstanding Juventuses, young men, were adjected or added to this number. Nam. For the Bactrianos and the Sogdianos in the Indies, and the rest of the Acolas, inhabitants of the Red Sea, who are unknown even to Darius himself, these nomina, these near plural, these names of these races, his festinadio, his haste, had prohibited them from being acquired, being summoned or called. Nec quidquam. Quidquam's like quidquam, it means anything, so neither was there anything illi to him, less than a multitude. Defu, was he lacking of soldiers, so he wasn't lacking anything less than a multitude of soldiers. of whom in aspectu in the sight of so universally, or all of them, ad modum, it's an adverb, so it means he was fully latus, he was fully happy at the sight of them universally. And the purpuratus, these are people who dress in purple in the court, with their usual vanity, or their accustomed vanity. They've ablative absoluted here. They've inflated his hope, his spem, Darius's hope. He, however, being a nominative again, he is conversed, he's turned to charidium, this guy in the accusative, who was peritum, or experienced at war, and he's an Athenian, and because of his exile, he was infestum, another accusative, he was hostile to Alexander, that's the dative, since by his eubenting, by his order, he had been expulsed from Athens, he'd been expelled. Darius began to per contari, to inquire, satisne, it's a question. If he satisfactorily seemed to have instructus drawn up his army to obterundum the hostem, to wear down the enemy or to defeat the enemy at Illy. But he, Charidinus, oblitus, he's forgetful of his lot, of his lot in life, and of royal arrogance. He inquired, he said, but, and also you, for Satan, perhaps nolus orderi, you don't want to hear this, and I, but unless now I shall speak, I will confess alias, another adverb in another time, that it has all been nequiquam, in vain. Okay, setting a new paragraph, but it's the same speaker. This exercise, this army so apparatus, so prepared, tanto such, in this so many of races and so much of people from all of the Orient, the Curtius of the Orient, who have been excited or brought out from their sedebuses, from their homes, this moles, this mass of people, which is potes, which is able to be terrible or terrifying to their phenitimuses, to their neighbours, nites, it's shining with purple and with gold, it's fulgurating, it's shining still with arms and with opulence and riches, quantum, as much as who has not cast upon with their eyes, who hasn't who hasn't seen this with their eyes, would not be able to conceive it in their minds or their hearts. Said, but the Achis Macedonium, the Macedonian battle lines, so he's gone from all these eastern armies of Darius to Alexander's forces. Sane, it's clearly Torva, very grim or forward-looking, and inculta, uncultured, they're not all shaven or whatever. Immobiles cunius, so they've got wedges that can't be moved with shields and spears, and teget, and it's covered with packed robustness of men, or packed with strong men. They themselves, ipsi, they vocant, they call this a phalanx. It's a stable agmen, a stable column of foot soldiers. We'll scroll a bit. Okay, so I'll have a daily dictionary. Alias, adverb, which we just saw a couple of lines ago in another time. Can be used for the past, but can be used elsewhere or otherwise as well. There's a lot of these adverbs that have a in them. Back to the plot. So, this phalanx, it's vir to viro, man to man. Arms are concerta sunted, they're sewn with other arms. Arms are sewn to arms, man to man. They're all intent to the nod of the person monitoring them, giving them advice or ordering them. To sequi standards, they follow the standards, didicerant. They've learnt to follow the standards and to keep their order, preserve their order, the order of all these men there. What is imperator, what is ordered, all of them exordiant, they hear and obey. To obstiterate, to stop, to circumere, to go around in a circle, to discare in cornu, to run about into the wings, mutere pugnim, to changing the battle formations or the fight. Not the leaders, more than the soldiers themselves, are callant, they're very learned or skilled in this. Hackney. And lest putes, lest you think that is by gold and silver, unless you think them to be held with this studio, this zeal or desire of gold and silver. Still, this magistrate, their teacher, of this discipline that they stand in is poverty, paupertas. So it's a discipline they're taught of living in poverty. To the fatigued, the humus, which is female second declension. The ground is their cubicle, their bed. Food, which they, there's a rapiant here in another translation, whether it's rapiant or parenza, the food which they seize upon, that they prepare or they seize, it's whatever food they get is satiates them as satisfactorily. The times of sleeping are artoria, more narrower or shorter than the night is long. So now Yam, the Thessalians, Equites, the cavalry, and the Arcanes and Aeotolas, who are invicta, undefeated in war, Manos, this handful of them, or this group of them, by funduses, by slingers, credo I believe, and by hastas, by spears, which have been duratus, are hardened by fire, they will be repelled. That's passive. Opus says, something's needed in the ablative. Equal strength is needed. In that land, which has generated these men, which has borne them, querenda sunt, must be sought your auxilia, your help. Mite, send argentum, silver, and aurum and gold to conducid, as we saw, means to hire soldiers. Okay, that's it for the day.